I should say that the reason for the checks is that it's really just to get attention. It's like we need to get attention, and it's somewhat inevitably when I do these things, the sort of it causes the legacy media to like kind of lose their minds, and then they'll run it on every news channel. And I'm like, I couldn't pay them it would cost like 10 times more. All right. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. All right, congratulations.
Hello, this is Cyan,
And I'm Magenta.
and we are Cyan Magenta Media. That was the world's biggest beta cuck, Elon Musk, handing out $1 million checks in Green Bay, Wisconsin, for people who voted in the Supreme Court race that's happening there right now.
This is so illegal.
It's so illegal.
It's so illegal.
Wildly illegal.
Oh my God.
It's statewide illegal. It's federally illegal.
It's voter tampering.
This gets so fucking deep. He is just, I cannot fucking stand this man. And also, I want to point out one or two things here. Were both those people extremely rich already that he gave the checks to? Because they did not seem that excited.
Yeah.
Didn't they just seem like, you know what they are? I bet they're not even fucking
No,
real
they're
people.
actors.
They're probably actors, or they're probably someone involved with the campaign that he gave $1 million check to, and then they're just going to give back.
Yeah, try cashing that check anywhere. It's not a real check.
Well,
But
I mean, the big checks are never real checks.
exactly. How did we get here?
It's so blatantly illegal, and he's done this before. This is so bad that he did a tweet about this that he had to take down, and it caused a huge uproar because everyone's like, "What are you doing? This is the most blatantly illegal shit I can possibly think of." He's buying votes.
For $1 million a pop.
So Elon and MAGA is backing Brad Schimmel in the Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. He's a diehard MAGA guy. This is really important because this is going to decide the majority of the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. And you might be like, what's the big deal of the Wisconsin State Supreme Court? There's a lot of theories on why they care about it so much. But basically, Wisconsin's kind of it's been a blue purple state. This can decide a lot basically on just generally how the state runs. This could basically force Wisconsin to be a MAGA state, through the judiciary. Also, there's some other theories going on. Personally, for Elon Musk, he has some lawsuits wrapped up in the Wisconsin State Supreme Court. I hear a lot about how altruistic MAGA is, and how Elon Musk is losing money by doing all of this. This is still 100% self-serving. Any money that Trump lost because he's worth, he has his rug pull on his Trump meme coin that he did, which made him, I don't know what he's up to now, but I know he made tens of billions of dollars off of that. I keep hearing about how they didn't need to do this. They had great lives. They're actually losing money by doing this. Tesla stock is crashing, but that was not his intended goal. All this was done with the idea to make money. I don't think Elon expected the backlash that led to the Tesla stock crashing.
No, I don't think he or any of his advisors predicted that. But what people don't realize is, I saw a post on Facebook today that said, "Behold the red wave," and it was all of the stocks that are down today.
Yeah.
And that gives me pause, not because I'm like, oh, the people who have stock in the company, they just lost so much money. No, this is like bigger than the Big Short.
Yeah.
They're going to then, all of the people who still have money at the end
Yeah.
of this, they're just going to buy up all those stocks from the people that lost all of their money in them. And it's just taking the wealth back in, bringing it back up. So anybody who lost so much money that they can't own those stocks anymore.
Yeah.
This is all a part of the plan.
It absolutely is. Basically, a recession, the rich love a recession because they can buy up a bunch of assets and a bunch of stocks that increase their wealth, at a steal, basically. The other thing, too, I want to point out is you have to remember something. This is not necessarily about my number on paper net worth, right? This is about power.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather have $100 in a world where everyone has negative 100? Or would you rather have $1,000,001,001 in a world where everyone's a billionaire? You know what I mean?
It's
It's
all
all about
relative.
ratio. It's all about, yeah, it's relative. Exactly. It's all about the relative power, right? You know, we look back at feudal lords now and kings, and we think your average person in the United States lives better than a king did in, you know, the 1100s. But compared to the peasants in the 1100s, they were living like kings. It's power is all relative.
Yeah.
If no one has anything and you have a little bit of something, you have a lot more power.
Yes.
So this is the idiot fuckery that Elon does. So when he did this check presentation, he got heckled by some protesters. And he goes on this rant, which is just ridiculous. When you hear what he says and his answer to this heckler, the amount of cognitive dissonance and hypocrisy in his statement is astounding.
It's really wild. So, like, I mean, it was inevitable that at least a few Soros operatives would be in the audience. Give my regards to George. Say hi to George from me. USA, 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 USA. Yep. I mean, it was inevitable.
What a fucking idiot. I just love the George Soros thing. They always go to the George Soros thing, right? First of all, it's anti-Semitic. George Soros is Jewish. Let's be real. I mean, everyone knows that's why he's one of the reasons he's a boogeyman. He is a donator to the Democratic Party, right? Obviously. Elon donated $250 million to the Trump campaign to get him elected. He's handing out $1 million checks to people directly, right?
Yes.
In a previous episode, we said how everything that MAGA does, conservatives do, the right does, is projection, right? Can you fucking imagine if George Soros was on stage giving out checks to people? There would be calls for public executions of George Soros.
He'd be on the plane to El Salvador.
He would be on the plane.
Immediately.
That's exactly right. He'd be on the plane to El Salvador. You know, obviously, I don't want anyone meddling in elections. I don't want George Soros's money in the Democratic Party. Citizens United made corporate donations speech, right? That's the number one thing we have to do. If you want to fix 80% of the problems we have in this country, in our elections, get rid of Citizens United, overturn it. It was the worst decision ever. Well, I mean, up until Roe versus Wade being overturned, that's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But Citizens United, basically what it did was it made corporate donations protected speech under the First Amendment.
Right.
Yeah.
Because before that, it was illegal for corporations
Mhm.
to make donations to political candidates
Directly, yeah.
directly.
And he basically single-handedly bought this election. And now he's out here giving away actual $1 million checks to people. The hypocrisy is just
Allegedly.
astounding. Well, yeah, allegedly, if the check is real, whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just always right to Soros, always right to this. He is everything that they claim Soros is. And I want them both out.
Yeah.
Get rid of fucking George Soros. Get rid of Elon Musk. We don't need any of it.
No.
Have publicly funded elections with limits.
Yes, and also make lobbying illegal and get rid of the electoral college because my vote in my state should be worth the same as another one single vote in any other state.
Yeah. And you lived in a state that your vote didn't matter at all.
Yeah, I lived in New York.
And then you lived in 2 states where your vote was one of the 7 most important votes in the country.
Mhm.
You currently live in a state right now that decides presidential elections. And then you have
Yep.
people in California whose votes never mattered,
Yep.
even though there's what, 15, 20 million voters in California, or maybe somewhere around there, probably 15 million out of the 40 million people that live there. Their votes don't matter at all.
Nope.
They just pad numbers. In a system with no electoral college, it's literally every single vote matters.
It hasn't mattered since they created the electoral college. They talk about, getting rid of DEI. DEI is just
Yeah.
the electoral college is DEI for red states and small states.
This is the most important message from this. The right wing's hypocrisy has no bounds. So I'm just kind of tired of hearing all the hypocrisy where, you know, the left is, or the Democrats are buying elections because of George Soros. You have a literal billionaire that is the co-president of the United States passing out $1 million checks. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And click the links below to follow us on our other social medias.